Why did I start my channel? Tips for somebody starting a channel. And was it awkward talking to the camera to begin with? The next thing that we are planning for our homestead though, the next thing that's going to be coming to the homestead, and that's a real concern. Here we do have some storms, some severe storms that come through this area. Hey y'all, and welcome. I'm really excited about today's video. It's a Q&A. I asked a while back if anybody had any questions, and you did. And I've also been keeping up with some questions here and there off of some other videos, and so I'm going to answer those for you today. If you're new, this will be a great way for you to get to know a little bit more about me and about my family. I wanted to sit down and do this with Justin, but it just hasn't worked out where we've been able to do that. So I'm going to answer a good bit of these today, but I'm also going to save some to answer with him a little bit later. If you're just finding us for the first time, I'm Tiffany, and this is our small town life. I live in this double-wide mobile home on a 1-acre homestead with my husband Justin and our 5 kiddos. I share homesteading, homemaking, and homeschooling content here, and we would love to have you as part of our YouTube family. And like I mentioned, this is going to be a good video for you because you're going to get to know some more about us. I think Q&As are really fun. I always enjoy them. I'm excited about this one, so let's get started. One of the most popular questions that I have gotten lately is, what do we do in the case of storms since we live in a mobile home? And that's a real concern. Here we do have some storms, some severe storms that come through this area, high winds, tornadoes. And so what we do is we're next door to my mom, and they live in a brick home, and so if we need to, we can go over there. They don't have a basement, but get in the center of the home. And then we're about 5 minutes from my pawpaw's, and he has what we like to call here in the South a storm pit, and we can go over there and get in his storm pit. And our town several years back put in some community storm shelters, so if we needed to do that, we could go there as well. I would like to eventually get something here. My dad also lives in a double wide, and he put in a storm pit that he did himself, and he got it all nice and set up so that they have somewhere safe to go. And I would like to do something similar here eventually, but we do have options in case of a storm. What are our college degrees? So Justin and I both have our bachelor's degrees, and Justin's is in logistics and supply chain management. And then mine, I majored in management and minored in marketing. And then I also have an associate's degree in business education. Why do I like the utility sink in our laundry room so much? I think I mentioned that in the most recent home tour that I did about how much I like the utility sink. And I almost left it out. I kind of thought I just want a countertop that I can maybe fold clothes on or something. I don't know how much I'll use the sink. Several people say, get the sink. You'll be glad that you did. And I am glad that I did. We use it for so much. We use it all the time. We use it to fill chicken water, to wash stuff, to soak clothes in. It might be stained. I'll throw them in there and let them soak in the utility sink before I wash them. I mean, we use that sink for so many things. Tile. I also got a lot of question about this tile backsplash that I put up, this DIY peel and stick tile backsplash that I put up behind the stove. And hey y'all, it's doing great. It is, I'm loving it. It is so easy to wipe clean. It's fantastic. And I ordered those from Temu. I think I searched 3D peel and stick tile, and those were the ones that I picked out. And the trim piece that I put across the top, that came from Temu too. I think I searched peel and stick tile trim or something like that. Someone asked, and before I go any further, let me stop right here too and say thank you for all of your encouragement and your sweet words. They're watching Wild Kratts. Thank you so much for all of your encouragement and your sweet words. As I was reading through the questions, there were also comments just talking about how much you enjoy following along with our family and what we stand for and the kind of lifestyle that we live. Thank you so much for all of the encouragement and the love that you continually show us. I appreciate it so much. Do I have any experience sewing, or is it something that I would like to learn? I do have experience sewing. I grew up watching my mama sew and quilt. Oh my goodness, she has made some of the most beautiful quilts that I use to this day. She made beautiful dresses for my sister and I when we were little. I still have them hanging in the closet. Audrey wore them when she was little, and I still have them hanging in the closet. She made gorgeous dresses for us. And then when Audrey was born, I got interested. I guess as she got a little bit older, I got interested in wanting to sew things for her. And so Mama taught me how to sew. Sew many things over the years, and there were times where I would sew a lot. I just haven't done that a lot recently. A couple weeks ago I did sew some curtains up for the camper, but there were times where I would pull my sewing machine out almost every single day, and pulling it out to sew those curtains made me want to start getting it out more again. Hey y'all, I was editing the video and I had a little bit of information that I wanted to put in right here before this next question. I wanted to clarify my answer to the next question a little bit. So the question is, what do I do for myself to take care of me? What's something that I do to spend some time for me? And when I answer that, I say that it doesn't take much. I don't need a lot. And this is what I want to clarify. What I meant by that is that it's simple things for me, like taking a bath or walking through the garden. I don't really go shopping or get my hair done or go to the coffee shop or anything like that. I do go get my nails done from time to time. But for me, it's mostly simple things like getting in the bathtub for a little while, walking through the garden. Wanted to make sure that was clear because I was afraid it might come across as me saying that I don't need time to myself. And that's certainly not the case. I think it's very important, and this is why I wanted to clarify. It's very important to take care of yourself, take care of your mental health. And when you need a break and when you feel like you need to do some of those things for yourself, do them. All right, here we go. Back to the Q&A. Somebody asked what I do to take a break for myself and get some me time. It doesn't take a lot for me. When I don't need a whole lot. I don't need to go and do all the things. I just need a little time to myself every once in a while. And Justin's really good about, I'll say, hey, I'm going to go get in the bath for a little while. Because mamas know that a lot of times we don't even get to go get a shower alone. There's a little one trying to get in or wanting to get in. So sometimes I'll just be like, I'm just going to go get a bath. I'm sitting there by myself for just a little while. And that will help me, feel a little bit better, feel a little bit renewed, I guess. And then sometimes I do like to go and get my nails done, or I'll get up early on a Saturday morning and go just somewhere with one of the kids and have some time with them. I like to go with Audrey and get my nails done. So that's kind of what I do. Nothing real elaborate, but every once in a while just going and taking a bath and sitting by myself for a little while. I love the busyness, and I love the chaos, and I love that there's so many little ones that still need mama and need my attention, and a home that needs my attention. I love that, but a break every now and then just to be by myself is nice. Perhaps I should prioritize that a little bit more. What does a typical day in our house look like? And that looks different depending on the time of year and the season and what's going on. We do a lot of gardening and preserving around here. So in like late spring through summer, there's a lot of that going on, even into fall. We're outside more in the warmer months, inside more in the cooler months. So it always, we kind of live seasonally, I suppose. Right now, what it looks like for us is waking up, getting everyone going for the day, pack Justin's lunch, get him off to work, everybody breakfast, those kinds of things, start to get ready for the day. I'll go out and do chicken chores that need to be done in the morning, anything outside that needs to be done in the morning, take a little walk through the garden and see what we might need to do there during the day. And then we'll do our homeschool day and then lunch. And after lunch, we usually do inside chores. And then late afternoon is usually when I will do any preserving that I need to do, or go out in the garden and do harvesting that we need to do once it's cooled off a little bit. We usually do a lot of that in the evenings. And then we have our supper, bedtime routine, all of that. Right now, we don't have any sports going on. Basketball will be starting very soon, and so we'll be adding in ball practices and ball games and those kinds of things. But we're in a little bit of a break right now from that. And then Shasta at Her Heart's Home asked what our homeschool routine looks like and if we do a 4 or 5 day a week schedule. So we do a 5 day a week schedule. That's what we've always done, and it works for us. But we do a more relaxed schedule on Fridays. We always call it Fun Friday, and we'll do like some of our online learning games. Kids like to do Reading Eggs and Prodigy, Adventure Academy. They do a lot of those things on Fridays. Go to the park, do extra like science experiments or nature studies, those kinds of things on Friday. Whereas Monday through Thursday, it's more like our work pages and sitting down doing those kinds of things. So we usually start the day all together doing Bible study, and we've been doing study of character traits. We do that together, and then we rotate history and science, and so we'll usually do that all together as well, whatever we're doing that day. And then the kids do their own work pages for language, reading, math, spelling, and handwriting. And we use BJU Press. I did some unboxings of those. I know Shasta knows we use that's what we use, but in case somebody else might be wondering, I have some unboxing videos, and I'll link those down in the description box for you, as well as a link to BJU. We love BJU Press, and so that's the worksheets that they do for all of those subjects that they kind of go and do individually. And by lunchtime-ish, sometimes it goes a little bit longer than that, but usually by lunchtime, we are finished up with our school day, and then we start lunchtime and chores around the house like I mentioned earlier. Why did I start my channel? Tips for somebody starting a channel, and was it awkward talking to the camera to begin with? I started my channel because it felt like a calling on my life. It was a calling on my life. And I also, I felt that this was my opportunity to share Jesus with others on this platform. And I also really wanted to have these memories to go back and look on myself. My sweet, sweet friend Erica over at Dorset Doorstep, I'd heard her say that vlogging was like a digital scrapbook. And it is. And it's so fun to go back and watch those videos and see all of those memories. And so that's why I started it, because it was a calling. It was my opportunity to share Jesus on this platform, and because I really wanted to have those memories to go back and look on. And then my tips for somebody else who's wanting to start a channel is, if you feel like it's something you want to do, don't wait on everything to be perfect to be able to do it. I made the excuses for a long time of I don't have the right camera or the right computer for editing, or I don't understand really how to edit, or where I get music, or how to do this or how to do that. I don't know how to do it. I don't have the right things. Just start with what you have and learn as you go. Yeah, be prepared, but learn as you go, because it really does take just getting started. And I also want to encourage you to do it because it's something that you enjoy, not just seeking to make it big and make a ton of money. Yes, this has become a career for me, and I'm so thankful for that, and I've been so blessed by that. It took a little while to get there, and that speed is different for different people for different reasons. But do it because you enjoy it, because otherwise you may get burnt out pretty quickly. And also be as consistent as you can be if you are looking for growth. If you are looking for your channel to grow, if you are looking to grow your subscriber count and your view count, consistency will make a big difference. If that's uploading once a week on the same day, same time, twice a week, 5 days a week, whatever it looks like for you, just try to be consistent in that if you are looking to see growth. You may not. You may just be looking for a creative outlet to create some content and put it out there. Was it awkward talking to the camera? A little bit. And it still is sometimes out in public, but not near what it was, because I've really just gotten this peace over me that I'm talking to you. I'm talking to the person on the other side of the camera, which to some people may make it even more awkward and make them even more nervous. But there are real people on the other side of this camera, and I'm sitting here talking to you. And if somebody has to look at me like I'm crazy out in public because I'm sitting there with a camera, well, let them, because I'm talking to my friends. Oh, my foot's falling asleep. Hang on. Are we going to be getting more animals? And then somebody asked if we would ever get a dairy cow. We do plan for more animals. When we moved here, this was raw land. Y'all, no structures, no fencing, none of that. We've had to build it from the ground up or below the ground up. We've had to do water lines, septic, electric, like everything had to be done when we moved here. There was nothing. Before we moved here, this was just completely overgrown, and a lot of work had to be done just to even get a home here. And now we have a beautiful yard and places for animals. We've come a long way in the last year, but there's still a ways to go to continue adding animals to our homestead. But that is the plan. A dairy cow is not in the immediate plans. And somebody else asked how much land we have. So we have 1 acre right here, and that's what we do a lot on, is this 1 acre. You can do a lot on a little bit of land. We are next to my mom and stepdad, and they have a few acres, and we do some things with them. And so there's a little more land that things can be done on. And a dairy cow could be done on this amount of land, but it would take a lot in terms of logistics to make that happen. Oh, I would love it. I would love a dairy cow. Something a little more feasible may be a dairy goat, and I've talked about that. Again, when we can get some structure in place and some things ready for them. Audrey would also love to show goats. So goats are something that's in the plan. I would also like for us to maybe raise some of our own pigs, some for meat for the freezer. And that was something that I kind of thought we might go into this year, but we decided we're just going to purchase the meat this year from a local farmer. Maybe that'll be something that happens next year. The next thing that we are planning for our homestead, though, the next thing that's going to be coming to the homestead is honeybees, if all goes as planned. Justin and I have been talking about that, doing our research and learning everything that we can, and we're excited to hopefully be welcoming some honeybees to the homestead as the next adventure that we have here. Is Justin a full-time pastor, or does he have another job as well? So Justin is not pastoring a church right now, but he does preach at churches around our community 2 to 3 times a month, probably. And he works as the senior IT manager for Jack's Family Restaurants, which somebody said, how do you get so many Jack shirts? You're always wearing these Jack shirts. Where do you get them from? That's where I snitched them from Justin. There he is. He works for Jack's Family Restaurants as their senior IT manager. How to prioritize Christ in a busy household. You have to do just that. You have to prioritize Christ, because it's so much easier to say, I'm too busy, got too many people to take care of, too much going on. And I've been guilty of doing that myself, and then at the end of the day, I'm like, golly, what happened today? But when I take the time to read my Bible, to spend time in prayer, and y'all, honestly, I try to just constantly live in a state of prayer, but specifically before I get out of bed in the morning, when I'm laying in bed at night, because goodness knows that's some of the only quiet time I have. And you know, even if I have to set something aside to read my Bible for a little while, and just constantly, even if I'm standing at the sink doing dishes, I can say thank you, God. I can say thank you for these dirty dishes and the family that eats off of them and the food that we put on the plates. Finding the time. Mom. Yes, darling. Making the time and choosing to prioritize Christ, because it is so much easier to say, I'm just too busy. Put in the effort. Make it happen, because we can all make it happen. We can make it happen. We can make time to pick up our Bible. We can make time to spend time in prayer. We just have to choose to make it happen, because nothing else matters if not for Jesus. He's pulling him a stool over. And somebody asked if I was raised by my grandparents, because I talk about them so much and share about them so much. I like to lovingly and a little jokingly say I was raised part-time by my grandparents. But I just say that because I spent so much time with them. My parents worked full-time jobs, and so I spent my summers at my grandparents. And I came home from school to my grandparents' house, and just loved being there and loved spending time with them. And so spent a lot of time with my grandparents. And a lot of the things that I try to do in my life now, the lifestyle that I try to live, the things that I try to carry on, the gardening, the canning, the sewing, the preserving, the meals that I cook for my family, and a lot of things that I do, those are things that I learned from my grandparents and learned in all that time that I spent with them. And because I try to share a lot of that here on this channel, you get to hear a lot about my grandparents. Somebody asked about our storage unit, storage building. I don't guess I ever really thought that would be something that somebody would want to know about. So I'm glad I asked if anybody has questions, because then I know. But I have sometimes mentioned having a storage unit, taking something to the storage unit, getting something from it, and they were asking, why do we have a storage unit? Now, we do have some things in there that's just there simply because we have the storage unit, like some Christmas decorations. If we didn't have the unit, we wouldn't have those there. The reason why we still have it, now when we moved from our rental house, so in case you were not here for that time of our life, we moved out of the rental house, and we still had a couple of months in between that and getting into this home. And so we were with my mother-in-law, so everything had to go in those storage units. And y'all, we had 2 units that were packed in there, this way, that way. It was like Tetris in those things. And then when we moved into this home, we pulled most of that out. The main reason why we still have one of those units, and I do eventually want to get rid of it because it is something that we pay for every month. But we have some furniture in there that was my great-grandparents', and then some that was my mom's when she was a child. And while we don't necessarily need them in our home right now, I also don't want to just get rid of them. So I've been trying to give myself some time to think about that. Maybe we'll get some kind of storage situation here where we could put some of those things until we knew what we wanted to do with them. I've just tried not to be hasty in making a decision on what to do with that furniture. And that's the main reason why we have the storage unit. Like I said, there's a few other things in there just simply because we've got the unit, and so we put it in there for now. But that furniture is the main reason why we still have it. What are my favorite things to grow? And a couple people actually asked that. And then Jessica over at Phyllis Full House said, when you come into Florida, girl, I'll come right now. I love Florida. And I've been to the east coast of Florida once, I think. Usually we go to the Gulf just because it's convenient to where we live. But I would love to come back over that direction. What do we like to plant? What's my favorite thing to plant and to grow? It depends on the season. For like spring and fall, I love growing radishes. I love radishes, and I love growing them so much that I usually overgrow radishes. I get so excited about it that I plant way more than we could possibly eat. But I really, really love to grow radishes. And then in the summertime for me, and turnip greens in the fall. Turnip greens. Yes. But summertime for me, I think it's cucumbers and tomatoes. Just a good cucumber and tomatoes. Because that's like classic summertime to me. A tomato sandwich, a good slicing tomato for a tomato sandwich, and a snacking cucumber. That just screams summertime to me. Should I get specific? Scarlet Globe radishes and French breakfast radishes are my favorite radishes to grow. I love Lemon Boy tomatoes. Better Boy, Big Boy, Pawpaw grew a lot of those, and they do well, but Lemon Boys are probably my favorite. And Ashley cucumbers have done really well for us. So have Boston pickling cucumbers, but I think if I was just going to snack on it, an Ashley cucumber. What's the weather like here in the winter? So we are in North Alabama. Oh, there's a kid screaming. We are in North Alabama, and y'all, you just never know what you're going to get. You may get snow, and you may be going around in shorts and a t-shirt, and it may be different from one day to the next. Like I think we've had one Christmas that I can remember where it snowed on Christmas. We've had Christmases where we were in shorts and t-shirts. You just never know. It's usually a fairly mild winter. Every once in a while, though, it'll surprise you and we'll have an ice storm. That's really the biggest thing here. Not so much snow as it is ice, because the weather fluctuates so much. Like, we'll get a lot of rain that would in turn freeze. It wasn't cold enough to make it snow, but then it's cold enough to freeze it. And now there's ice everywhere. And so that's usually what the bigger concern with us is. But around here, you just never know what you're going to get. And then we'll finish with, what are we planting this fall? So we've got the garden space getting ready. Oh, these kids. Mama's going to have to finish up. I'm going to have to finish up. We'll finish up with this one. The garden space is getting ready. We worked on it. Justin worked on it a good bit this past weekend, getting it ready for some fall things. And we're going to do just kind of generic here, not getting super specific. We'll do a video that's, I guess, a little more dedicated to this. But carrots, cabbage, beets, turnips. We're going to do some snap peas. We've already got pumpkins in the ground and growing. Our flowers are still doing good. We still have some beans that are doing good. Cucamelons are still doing good. I said this was going to be the last question. Somebody also asked, how are our cucamelons? Y'all, they are still going strong. I've noticed still some blooms coming on those plants. They are doing so good. We actually left them in the garden when we took a lot of the summer stuff out to get ready for fall planting. We left the cucamelons because they were still doing so good. They were a little bit hit and miss on what the family thought about them. I really enjoyed, and so did Hudson, just going out to the garden and getting some and snacking on them out in the garden. But Audrey, Easton, and Justin were kind of like, meh, they're okay. They're not great, but they're okay. I will try to plant them again because they're fun, they're different. It took a couple of years for me to get it down, and then this year they did so good. So I think there's something I'll continue to plant. Not just a huge, large amount of, but enough that, you know, if Hudson and I want to go out to the garden and grab a few and snack on them, we can. I hear babies. They were playing with the older kids, but I think that they are done. So Mama's going to go do Mama things and take care of that. Thank you for being here and hanging out with me and learning a little bit more about me today. There's still a few more questions that I didn't get to, but I'm going to save those for another time and maybe get Justin to sit down and answer those with me. I love you. I appreciate you. I'll see you in the next one. Bye, y'all.